Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Gospel of Mark in the spring semester of 2016 here at PTS. So excited that you're taking the class. It's good to see some familiar faces and names on the class roster, and also those who I haven't had the opportunity to get to know. We're going to be getting to know one another pretty well around the text of Mark this semester, and I think it's going to be a great time together. I don't know about you, but moving through the text of Mark to me always feels like walking on holy ground, because Mark, scholars believe, was the very first gospel written down in final form, and so it always just feels quite sacred moving through this earliest gospel, most likely written during the Roman Jewish War in the late 60s before the destruction of the temple in 70 AD. And so my prayer is that God would really guide us in a sacred way around this text so that we might be doing more than just gaining head knowledge, but that the text might read us and that we might be shaped by it in profound ways. Well, my name is Josh Rice, and as I said, it's my privilege to serve you this semester. A little bit about me. I graduated with a PhD in New Testament Studies back in 2012 from the Lutheran School of Theology at Chicago, where I also took graduate level courses at the University of Chicago. And I've been teaching at PTS and also at Lee across the street ever since. In addition to that, I teach at Point University here in Atlanta, and Richmont Graduate University, also here in Atlanta. So I've been privileged to receive some really unique opportunities to lead classes like this. My day job is an associate pastor at Mount Perrin North in the north suburbs of Atlanta. I've been here almost for 5 years. Prior to that, I was at Mount Perrin in Atlanta, Mount Perrin Central, for 3 years. So I've been a part of the Mount Perrin family for some time. I have a lot of passions. I have a family. My wife, John, and I have been married 17 years this August, and we have 2 little girls. Sophia is 10, and Evangelia is 8. My wife is a nurse at the Shepherd Center, which is a major rehab hospital here in Atlanta. I also love to write, and God has allowed me to publish 2 books thus far. A book on 1 Corinthians, Paul and Patronage, which I published back in 2013, and then just 2 months ago, finally published with Cascade Press, a spiritual memoir called The Jewish Centaur: Adventures in Pentecostal Spirituality. In addition to all that, I have a consulting business which focuses on helping pastors elevate the level of stewardship and generosity among their congregations, particularly stewardship campaigns for various projects. And I also love sports. I love to work out. I love to run. I love golf and basketball and football. In any sport, I'm into it. So, but out of all that, PTS certainly has just such a warm place in my heart, and I'm so privileged and thankful to be a part of the team at PTS and to be a part of the community there. At PTS, I have been in the classroom for J terms and even a couple semesters, teaching Pentecostal explorations of the New Testament, teaching the Gospel of John. Online, I've taught many of the letters of Paul as well as Gospels, and this will be my second time to jump into the text of Mark. Well, let's get into the syllabus together just so you can get off to a confident start in the class. There are 2 textbooks in the class. The first is the Abingdon New Testament Commentary by Black. This will be an anchor text. But really what's going to shape our approach to the gospel is more the text by David Rhodes, Mark as Story. Dr. Rhodes was actually my teacher in my PhD program, and he was the first to do groundbreaking narrative criticism on Mark. Now everybody does narrative work, it seems like, but Rhodes was really on the cutting edge of that. And so in addition to working through his book, we'll even look at some articles that he put out at an early date that show us the way this narrative approach to the Scripture began to develop. Quick word about the workflow of the course. If you've taken online courses at PTS in the past, you know that we build our weekly work around the discussion posts, which the system has them due on Friday night. I'm going to try to get that changed to Saturday night for your initial post. There is a word requirement there and a set of questions to work through, always in conjunction with the reading. And then we have 2 to 3 days to comment on one another's posts. I'll be reading every post and commenting on every post along the way. So I'll be very, very engaged with your writing. Sometimes I'll have follow-up questions, and sometimes I just want to compliment where your writing is the strongest. The bulk of that work is just making sure that you get the reading done early in the week so that you have time to digest the reading and refract your reading material to and through the questions that are being posed. Please note that the Populi system we use does give you an automatic grade based on being on time. That's not anything I tweak. So I tend to get a lot of emails from students about late work, and our system is such that I really don't have a choice in that. It assigns you automatically, and then I assign a grade for content. So just be aware of that. The other assignments in the class are a research paper, which is 40% of your grade, and I'll go over that more when we get toward the middle of the class, especially reading week. I'll have a guide that I'll create and edit to help you approach the research paper. And then 20% of your grade is either a Greek exam, if you're taking the class for Greek credit, or a sermon, which we'll probably do the sermon assignments either during reading week or the last week of the class. I'll make that decision along the way based on how things feel. Well, this week we're going to kick off with an introduction to narrative criticism. At the seminary, I am kind of known as the historical critical guy, which is a way of approaching texts that has fallen out of favor and might seem a little less Pentecostal to some, but nonetheless, I have a passion for history, and that's the method that I tend to use toward the text, especially since my main specialty is Paul. This semester, we are going to do something different. That is, we're going to take a mainly purely narrative approach to the text of Mark. And in order to do that responsibly, I just want to get you this week into the discipline of narrative criticism so that you understand its building blocks, its constituent parts, and how to apply this method to reading and studying the Gospel of Mark. In its purest sense, all you need to do narrative criticism really well is a concordance, and so which I think is a very powerful tool, and we'll do some experiments along the way to show how easy it is, not only for academic work, but personal Bible study and preaching. So I'm looking forward to getting started this week. If I can serve you in any way, feel free to email me at any time. We can also set up a video call or a phone call. My direct office line is 678-285-3289. Voicemails always kick to my email, so I'm able to get back to you quickly, and really looking forward to this journey together. Thanks, guys.